The Story of the World. History for the Classical Child. Volume 4. The Modern Age. From Victoria's Empire to the End of the USSR. Written by Susan Wise Bauer. Published by Peace Hill Press. Copyright 2005. This recording is copyright 2006 by Peace Hill Press and read by Jim Weiss. Forward. The 4 volumes of The Story of the World are meant to be read by children, or read aloud by parents to children. Each of the first 3 volumes increases slightly in difficulty. Although older students can certainly make use of them, the primary audience for Volume 1 is children in grades 1 through 4. For Volume 2, the primary audience is grades 2 through 5, and for Volume 3, grades 3 through 6. This volume is targeted at students in grades 4 through 8. The first 3 volumes, which cover history from roughly 5000 BC up until 1865, are designed so that siblings can use them together. So a first grader could certainly make use of Volume 2 if her 3rd grade sister were using it as well. I wouldn't study this particular volume, though, with children younger than 4th grade. The events that shaped the 20th century, by which I mean the events that have laid down the borders of countries and dictated the ways in which those countries relate to each other, have almost all involved violence. As an academic, a writer, a historian, and the mother of children ranging in age from 4 to beginning high school, I have done my best to tell this history in a way that is age appropriate. Because of that attempt, this volume is less evocative than the previous 3. I have always tried to tell history as a story, to bring out the color and narrative thread of events. But with this history, I have found myself veering continually toward a more matter-of-fact and less dramatic tone. The events of the 20th century, the bombing of Hiroshima, the purges of Stalin, to name only 2, are dramatic enough. Turned into story, they would be overwhelming. Despite their violent nature, I don't think these events should be ignored by parents of young children. A 4th grader hears the news on the car radio, on the TV, or in the conversation of his elders. He hears the words, such as terrorism, and senses the worry of the adults around him. A 4th or 5th grader who has a vague idea of what is going on in the world deserves to be started on the path to understanding. The shape of the world today is not random. It has been formed by a very definite pattern of happenings. To deny a child an understanding of that pattern is truly to doom a child to fear, because war, unrest, and violence appear totally random. Even in this book, violence is not random. It is alarming, but not random. As you read, you will see again and again the same pattern acted out. A person, or a group of people, rejects injustice by rebelling and seizing the reins of power. As soon as those reins are in the hands of the rebels become the establishment. The victims become the tyrants. The freedom fighters become the dictators. The man who shouts for equality in one decade purges in the next decade those who shout against him. Boiling history down to its simplest outline, so that beginning scholars can grasp it, brings this repetition into stark relief. Again and again while researching this book, I was reminded of the words of Alexander Solzhenitsyn, who spent 11 years in the labor camps of the Soviet Union, and who, when he became powerless, finally understood that revolution never brings an end to oppression. Solzhenitsyn wrote, "In the intoxication of youthful successes, I had felt myself to be infallible, and I was therefore cruel. In the surfeit of power, I was a murderer and an oppressor, and it was only when I lay there on rotting prison straw that I sensed within myself the first stirrings of good. Even in the best of hearts there remains an unuprooted small corner of evil. Since then, I have come to understand the truth of all the religions of the world. They struggle."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?